The Packers just ripped off 4 straight wins to climb into first place, and now they're staring at a 4-week sprint that's going to decide absolutely everything. Division crown, playoff berth, maybe even the number 1 seed. Or if they slip, the whole thing can come apart before January even arrives. That's the reality Matt LaFleur walked into on Monday morning. No breathing room, no margin for a bad Sunday, and no illusions about the challenge coming next. The NFC North standings tell the story without sugarcoating it. Green Bay sits at 9-3-1, a half step in front of Chicago. The Bears lurk at 9-4 with a softer schedule and 3 home games left. Detroit is right behind, both at 8-5, and Minnesota is mathematically alive and sitting in perfect position to play spoiler at the end. The Packers could still run away with the division. They could still fall out of the playoffs. Both outcomes are on the table, and both hinge on what happens over the next 8 days. 2 road games, Denver first, Chicago after that. And the difference between winning both and losing both is the difference between hosting playoff football or watching it from home. Green Bay's climb has been impressive. 4 straight wins, a sweep of the NFC North rivals, and a team that suddenly looks like it's tightened up its late-game mistakes. But the Broncos are 11-2, the best record in the league, and their defense has buried teams for a month straight. LaFleur hasn't forgotten the Browns or Panthers' losses, games the Packers should have handled but didn't. That's why he keeps hammering the message: don't look ahead, don't breathe, don't blink. Chicago, meanwhile, isn't going anywhere. They're flawed, sure. Negative point differential, negative touchdown differential, but they win ugly and they win late. And they get the Browns at home this week. It's not hard to picture a scenario where the Bears win, the Packers lose, and first place flips again before Green Bay even boards its plane to Chicago. Detroit is unpredictable but dangerous, a win-loss rhythm that hasn't broken since week 5. They play 3 of their final 4 on the road, but they still have the talent to throw the entire race into chaos, and Minnesota will happily torch Green Bay's season if given the chance in week 18. That's just the division. The conference is even tighter. Rams, Seahawks, Packers, that's your top 3 right now. Both NFC West contenders sit at 10-3. Green Bay sits at 9-3-1, wedged right between stability and disaster. If the Packers drop the next 2, they could fall to 8th in the NFC, outside the playoff picture entirely. If they sweep the next 4, they could be sitting on the number 1 seed and a January spent at Lambeau Field. Everything is clustered. Everything is fragile. Everything is in reach. The paths are clear, at least on paper. Seattle has the toughest remaining schedule in the NFC, 4 straight opponents with winning records and a season finale at San Francisco. The Rams have 2 easier games to close things out, but must face Detroit coming off extra rest. That Week 16 Rams-Seahawks showdown is the trigger point for the whole race. Green Bay needs that game to break their way, and they need the winner to slip again. But none of that matters if the Packers don't handle Denver. That's the thing everyone in the locker room knows, but nobody wants to say. Everything they've built can unravel fast. Lose Sunday, and every seed from number 2 to number 8 becomes mathematically possible. Lose 2 straight, and the division probably shifts back to Chicago. Jordan Love didn't pretend otherwise after beating the Bears. It's about finishing. No silver linings. No scoreboard watching. Just stacking wins and surviving the stretch. 4 weeks, 4 games, and a season hanging by the thinnest thread, one they've pulled tight enough to matter again. Now they just have to hold on to it. Packers have 4-week dash to decide literally everything, Rofineps. The Green Bay Packers ripped off 4 straight wins to climb into first place in the NFC North. But with 4 games left, they're sitting on the thinnest margin possible. 1 slip, and everything from the division crown to a playoff berth to the NFC's number 1 seed is suddenly up for grabs. Green Bay visits the Denver Broncos on Sunday, and the math is simple. Lose, and they could fall out of first place. Lose this week and next week at the Chicago Bears, and they could fall out of the playoff picture entirely. Coach Matt LaFleur summed it up perfectly. Everyone in the NFC is stacked up shoulder to shoulder, and every week is a heavyweight fight. Updated NFC North standings. Green Bay Packers, 9-3-1, winners of 4 straight, including a clean sweep of the division. 3 of 4 to close the season are on the road. with a tough home game against the Baltimore Ravens mixed in. Chicago Bears 9-4, strong record, shaky point, and touchdown differentials. 3 of 4 at home, where they've won 4 straight. Detroit Lions 8-5, alternating wins and losses since week 5. 3 road games coming. Minnesota Vikings 5-8, still alive after snapping a 4-game slide. They'll play spoiler against both Detroit and Green Bay to close the season. Remaining schedules: Packers, Bears, Lions Week 15 Packers at Broncos 11-2, Bears versus Browns 3-10, Lions at Rams 10-3. Week 16 Packers at Bears 9-4, Bears versus Packers 9-3-1, Lions versus Steelers 7-6. Week 17 Packers versus Ravens 6-7, Bears at 49ers 9-4, Lions at Vikings 5-8. Week 18 Packers at Vikings 5-8, Bears versus Lions 8-5, Lions at Bears 9-4. Staying in first won't be easy. Green Bay's in the driver's seat, technically. The problem, one wrong turn, and the Bears can immediately reclaim the top spot. With Denver and Chicago back-to-back on the schedule, the Packers are in a high-wire stretch with 0 safety net. The danger is clear when you zoom out to the full NFC playoff picture. Green Bay sits second at 9-3-1, but they're only 1 loss from tumbling to the edge of the bubble behind the Lions and Carolina Panthers. NFC playoff standings: 1 Rams 10-3, 2 Packers 9-3-1, 3 Eagles 8-5, 4 Buccaneers 7-6, 5 Seahawks 10-3, 6 49ers 9-4, Bears 9-4, Lions 8-5, 9 Panthers 7-6. 2 straight losses could drop the Packers to 8th, out of the playoff field entirely with 2 games to go. Race for the number 1 seed Green Bay still has a path to home field advantage. They're chasing the Rams and Seahawks both 10-3, with a massive Seahawks-Rams showdown coming in Week 16. Packers must win out to hit 13-3-1. If they do, they need the Seattle-Los Angeles winner to slip somewhere else. Remaining schedules: Packers, Broncos 11-2, Bears 9-4, Ravens 6-7, at Vikings 5-8. Rams, Lions, at Seahawks, at Falcons, Cardinals. Seahawks, Colts, Rams, at Panthers, at 49ers, Eyes. Seattle faces the toughest slate in the conference. Every opponent has a winning record. A likely Packers-friendly sequence would be Seattle beating the Rams in Week 16, but then losing to the 49ers in Week 18. Green Bay's job is simple and brutal: win everything. It's all about finishing, quarterback Jordan Love said. We've still got a couple more weeks here, so we've got to keep stacking. 4 weeks. Everything on the line. Every game a season shaper. The Packers just ripped off 4 straight wins to climb into first place, and now they're staring at a 4-week sprint that's going to decide absolutely everything. Division crown, playoff berth, maybe even the number 1 seed, or if they slip, the whole thing can come apart before January even arrives. That's the reality Matt LaFleur walked into on Monday morning. No breathing room, no margin for a bad Sunday, and no illusions about the challenge coming next. The NFC North standings tell the story without sugarcoating it. Green Bay sits at 9-3-1, a half step in front of Chicago. The Bears lurk at 9-4 with a softer schedule and 3 home games left. Detroit is right behind, both at 8-5, and Minnesota is mathematically alive and sitting in perfect position to play spoiler at the end. The Packers could still run away with the division. They could still fall out of the playoffs. Both outcomes are on the table, and both hinge on what happens over the next 8 days. 2 road games, Denver first, Chicago after that. And the difference between winning both and losing both is the difference between hosting playoff football or watching it from home. Green Bay's